Hey everybody, Cody Barnett at Bodyworks Physical Therapy and Concussion Center, and I am joined today by my friend Raquel Rios-Reed. And Raquel is the owner of First Gear Running Company, and she is also a really good runner. You might have heard of her. She's competed in 2 Olympic marathon trials and getting ready to compete in a 3rd one coming up here in February. And she has, through her many years of training, has had her share of injuries. And so one of the things that we wanted to chat about today was the topic of recovery and training and recovery and that sort of stuff. So if you don't mind, Raquel, tell us a little bit about like your training load. You're getting ready to do an Olympic marathon trial. Really big deal, really cool deal. You're also the Kansas Marathon Women's Champion, or record holder. Okay, so when you're trying to ramp up for something like this, give us an idea of what your training load is in terms of miles and times and stuff like that.
Yeah, mileage wise, I don't think I would ever get too much higher than about an 85-mile week. So on occasion I might, but it's not consistent. It's not very often for several reasons. I work full time, I have kids, I have a life, so it's really hard to, put a lot more time, and I can only do so much with the amount of recovery I'm getting. So if I did want to put a 100-mile weekend, well, guess what? My sleep would have to increase quite a bit. My rest would have to increase quite a bit. And it's really what I allow myself to have time for and what I don't. And so I have to be reasonable with that. So if I could sleep an extra couple hours, then I could train an extra maybe 30 minutes. That's kind of how I see it. But it's become a lot more important over the years for me. I'd have to say 10 years ago, recovery was kind of, you have an easy day in between your hard days, and that's calling it good. And anymore, I really do try to focus on what time I'm going to bed, how much extra am I doing, and that's really hard for me because I like to pile on the extras usually all the time. I have stuff going on all the time. So, but in a heavier training block, that is really what I focus on is maybe not going out with friends, or maybe not doing an extra here and there. And okay, so if I can sleep an extra 30 minutes on a Sunday morning as opposed to getting up really early to go for my long run, then I will. I try to squeeze in as much recovery as possible. So that's really been key for me, because I can become very injury prone very quick because my sleep can be very minimal over a long period of time, and it's not intentional. It's just kind of how things happen sometimes.
And you're a mom, and you got school events and different things like that. I mean, to me, I hear 85-mile week, I'm thinking that's a part-time job.
Yes, it happens when everyone else is sleeping. So and it's kind of the way it can happen for me. On occasion I will have a double day run, and it'll be, I think that's weekly actually. I'll do 2 days a week where I do a double run, but it's timed very well. Right. If it's going to interfere with something that my kids have going on, or then it would be moved to a different day. So it's precise.
Very helpful. So, in my world, we talk a lot about how, training is really important if you're, trying to do something big. We have clients that are trying to climb mountains, or they're trying to run a race. They might be training for a 5K, or they might be training for a marathon, or they might be training for an Ironman, or whatever, and everybody in between. But sometimes it's a struggle for me to try to convince them, if you're going to ramp up here, we got to get a little more recovery time down here to allow your body to heal from all this loading that you're putting on. So if somebody else maybe is struggling in that area, what encouragement or advice would you give them?
Look for the signs. That's usually, if you are, it's really interesting, but if you're having a hard time sleeping, sometimes that's a pretty good sign that you're overtired. If your workouts aren't, if you're not producing quality workouts, it's a good sign that you're overtired. If you are having a hard time focusing during your workouts, it's a very good sign that you're overtired. So, another sign that is, it depends on how deep you want to get into it, but, checking your heart rate.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that heart rate is higher than normal and you're doing an easy run, it's a really good sign that you're tired, and rest is needed. There's so many tools now. You can have your Garmin, if you wear a Garmin and wear the strap. The data that puts out for you is really valuable if you just take the time to look at it and see. Yes.
Yeah. Very helpful.
And you can go beyond and get another program that'll show you, your fatigue levels versus your heart rate levels. And so it's pretty clear signs of, but the truest sign is checking with yourself. How tired am I? If you go to bed at night and you hit the pillow so hard and you're out, and you're probably too tired.
Yeah.
So, and I try to pay attention to that because I've been very guilty of that over and over. So.
Very helpful. Very helpful. Are there any other recovery tools that you use?
Yes, I like to foam roll, your tired, tight muscles. There are so many, and there are rollers that you can use specific to quad muscles or bigger muscles that kind of help create circulation in the muscle so you have better recovery. Blood circulation helps, heal your micro tears. So that's always a great practice. But, eating well is a recovery tool that most people don't think about because they see a lot of times a hard workout and their reward is to eat whatever they want, which really you're kind of taking a step backward. If you're honing in on what your recovery meal should be after a hard workout, you just feel so much better, so much quicker.
Yeah.
So hydration is a big thing people miss. Staying hydrated just on the day you're working out really doesn't serve as good a purpose as always staying hydrated
all the time. Yeah. Maybe you're a bit like me, but I find when I'm working out more and training harder, I actually crave the better foods more.
Oh yeah.
And when I've been more of not a very good exerciser, that's when I crave the chips and the not so good stuff.
Yeah, I just try to stick. Well, I feel like I'm always training for something, so maybe I don't know.
You're a lot better than I am. I'm,
I try to keep it. Recovery is always going to be important. So.
Yeah. Very good. Well, thank you for your time today.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. And if you want to catch up with Raquel, she is at First Gear Running Company in Wichita. What's your website?
It's firstgearrunningcompany.com.
Okay. That's great. And then, so feel free to connect with her if you're needing any shoe wear, recovery type stuff, questions about training, group runs, stuff like that. They've got a lot of stuff going on down there. Appreciate that. And then on our end, if you want to stay active and mobile and off pain pills, we welcome you to check out us. And we're at bodyworksphysicaltherapy.net, or you give us a call at 316-558-8808. Raquel, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Olympic Marathon Trial number 3 coming up. Healthy.
Yes.
And you're going to kick butt and take names.
Yes.
Right.
I'll get there.
Cool. So everybody in Wichita should be very proud of all that Raquel has accomplished. So we wish you well.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us. And until next time, we'll see you later.